Hi, it's Meera here, your instructor for today's class. This is all about CSS Box Model. So basically this is to give you an idea of how the HTML elements are treated as a box in terms of a box model on a website. We teach you how it is done, and as you know, a box is supposed to have a dimension in terms of width, height, border, margin, background, content, etc. So we will explain how it is done here. So just head back to your index file. This is a basic structure of a index file, and within the body we just write the div class. The div, as you know already, is a container. The div tag is used to make a container for some element. So here, in order to make a box, I need containers. So I call it the div. Open and close div, and I just give this div a class of box. Why do I do this? I do this so that it's easier for me to style in the CSS, right? And then I give it some content. So let's say a P, open and close. I just call it like just give it something like that. Okay, then head over to your style.css. Okay, yeah, since it is called class of box, so dot notation dot box. Okay, first thing, width, let's say 900 px, height, let's say 600, border, let's say then your margin, and background. We give it a color. Let's say okay, aquamarine looks nice. Then color for the font, white. Okay, let's head over here and see what happens. Yes, okay, we can see that in the full view. Right, this looks quite nice. So if this is something like this is a web page and this is a box. Let me make the box a bit more bigger so you will understand why. Okay, for example, let the width see how it goes. Is it bigger now? Okay, somewhat. Okay, and the height is okay. Now what I do is I head back to my index HTML and I kind of keep repeating a bit more of the text so that we have more text. So just copy Control C and so that you have more of the text. So you know what's happening when you increase the text. Let's head back here, refresh the page. Okay, so you have more of the content. Okay, let's give the size. Where is my style CSS? Here. Font size. Slightly bigger. And I also want to head back here and give a heading. CSS box model. Let's see how it looks. Just go back and refresh. Yeah, it looks nice. Okay. Now I want to put in more text so that you see what happens. Okay. Okay, it looks much more filled. Now there's one thing we need to add more in the style CSS, which is the padding, which I forgot to add. Okay, padding. The padding, let's say 50px. Go back here, refresh. Okay, go all the way here and check. Okay, now we see what's happening here. Okay, so go back to the diagram. Since it's white, I think I should make it black in order for you to understand the margin better. Okay, body, background color, let's say black. Go here and refresh. Okay, so if you want to explain the CSS box model, okay, part by part, what you see the space here on the left, on the top, on the right side, and on the bottom all the way here. It's a thin margin, it's a margin, right? Then of course this is a heading, you know already. This whole thing, whatever is written inside, this is a content, and this entire area is a content area. But however, the border, this is the border, the one that you see in red, this is the border. You can actually increase it. Let's see what happens if it is 20px. Okay, go here and refresh. There you go. So it becomes thicker, right? So this is the border. Then if you want, you can also increase the margin. Let's say you make the margin 50px. Let's see what happens. Refresh. Yes, it shifts here. So this is the effect of increasing these elements, right? This looks much better now. Okay. You can also, there are various ways. Either you can make it 50px or you can say margin auto. These are two ways of saying it. So when it's auto, then it takes the size as per whatever elements you are adding. Okay, automatically. Okay. But I'll just go for the 50px, or maybe I increase it to 70px and see what happens. Sorry. Yes. Okay. Looks decent. So these in black surrounding this box is the margin. The one in red all around is the border that you see on the left, on the top, on the right, and all the way until the bottom, right? And this is the content. Okay, now what is left is the padding. Currently I've given it a padding of 50. Now remember, what you need to remember is this padding, right? This padding is always in the area which is inside the content area. It is inside the border, like this is the border and this is the content area. So the padding will fall in this side, in this area, wherever the content is lying. And you will see that when you increase the padding, it is pushed down. So you will see how, let's say the padding instead of 50, you make the padding 100 px, and that is almost double, and then you refresh the page, it's further pushed down, right? So this is the effect of increasing the padding. So what happens is, in the default setting, whenever you increase the padding or the border, let's increase the border also. Let's say instead of 20, it's 30. Refresh. It keeps shifting down, pulling down the content. That is, when you're adding your width, the width also increases. The width is increasing along with every element that you're adding. So it is adding up to your margin, to your border, to your padding. So that's why the width keeps increasing more and more. That is the normal setting, the default setting. So let's do one thing here. Box sizing equal to border box. If I don't do this default setting, it would be treated as box sizing equal to content box. So based on the content and based on other factors, it will change. So here I've done this new setting. Box sizing is border box. Let's go back to the page. Okay, so what is happening? It doesn't affect. The padding is not affecting. Even though I increase the padding and even though the border was increased, it is not affecting the width. Let's go further. Let's say the padding becomes 120. The width will remain the same. Let's say, but if I increase the margin, it gets affected. The margin will affect because it keeps shifting to the right. But if I increase the padding or the border, it doesn't matter. Border, let's say I make it like 35, and then I increase the content. Let me go and increase. Go back here, refresh. As you see, it's just the content just got added up. It did not do anything here externally. So this is the advantage of using the setting for box sizing is border box. So that was the effect. So if you try experimenting with different padding and different border size and margin, etc., you will understand further. I'll be also including the code in the description below. So if you have any comments or any other arguments, you can always mention it in the comment section, right? And until then, see you in the next class.